Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at what artificial intelligence tells you to do if you want to become a successful professional fighter. My buddy, who has been training with me for something like 15 years, went on his phone the other day, asked the question out of interest to AI, and sent me the response. Now, I have not gone through the whole thing yet, but I thought it would be fun if together we look at number one, what they say, and number two, if myself, a pro kickboxer, MMA fighter, karateka, agrees with what they say. So first off, you are probably wondering, Gabriel, what the heck? Why are you wearing a toque inside? You're so Canadian. But there's a reason for it. I was away this weekend doing a seminar at East Van Muay Thai, and I turned the heat down in my house, and I just came back in after a weekend away and went, ooh, it's really cold in here. And actually, one of the participants at the seminar brought me this as a gift. He's just like, oh yeah, I know it's super Canadian, but I wanted to bring you a little gift, and just fantastic. East Van Muay Thai, if you're in the area, you're looking for somewhere to train, fantastic gym. Love the people over there, love the vibe, everything's super clean, people have fun, everybody's so nice. Check it out. Now let's move on here and talk about the answer. My buddy says, I asked an AI bot how to become a professional fighter. Answer: becoming a professional fighter is a challenging and competitive goal that requires a significant amount of dedication, hard work, and training. Here are some steps you can take to become a professional fighter. I'm going to come back to all this after, and I'm going to address everything we hear, but for now, I'm just going to roll straight through. Learn the basics. Before you can start competing as a professional fighter, you will need to learn the basics of the sport you're interested in, whether it be boxing, MMA, kickboxing, etc. You can do this by training at the gym or dojo that specializes in your chosen discipline and learning from experienced coaches and trainers. Next, get in shape. Fighting at a professional level requires a high level of fitness and conditioning. This means you will need to focus on building strength, endurance, and flexibility, which you can do through a combination of weight training, cardio, and specific martial arts. Next, get experience. As you become more experienced and skilled, you can start competing in amateur fights to gain experience and build a reputation. Next, build a reputation. As you gain experience and start winning fights, you will need to build a reputation in the fighting community. This helps you attract the attention of promoters and managers who can help you move up to professional fights. This is quite in depth. Next, find the right promotion. Once you build a reputation, you will need to find the right promotion to help you take the next step to becoming a professional fighter. This can be done by looking for promotions that are looking for new talent, or by working with a manager or agent to help you find the right opportunity. We'll talk about that one for sure. Next, training consistently. Being a professional fighter requires a consistent training schedule. You'll need to train regularly, not just for the physical aspect, but also for the mental aspect. And finally, it's important to note that becoming a professional fighter is a challenging and competitive goal that requires a significant amount of dedication, hard work, and training. It's also important to have a backup plan and not put all your eggs in one basket. And then my buddy says, super trippy. Actually a pretty damn good answer. So let's go through this point by point, and then I will give you my opinion if there's anything that needs to be removed or anything that needs to be added. But before we get to that, I would like to thank the sponsor of this episode, Bioptimizers, and their magnesium supplement, which when I was at the seminar, I again had people ask me, Gabriel, what are you taking? What is most important outside your regular diet, the food you actually consume? And I said, the one thing I always say, not because they pay me to say it, because I actually only take this on a regular basis at this point. Everything else is here and there. I'll try it sometimes, but this one, magnesium from Bioptimizers, all the time. If you guys want to try it out, get your sleep on point, get your recovery on point, head over to magnesiumbreakthrough.com/Gabriel and use that promo code Gabriel10 to save 10%. Now, let's return to what artificial intelligence tells you about becoming a professional fighter. First thing was, it is challenging and competitive goal, requires amount of dedication, hard work, and training. Yes, absolutely, that is all true. That's basically true with anything in life that is difficult. You're gonna have to dedicate yourself, you're gonna have to work hard. If you want to accomplish something extraordinary or out of the ordinary, or even something that's not even of those two things, where it's not really out of the ordinary or extraordinary, but difficult, you're gonna have to work hard. And you just have to buckle down and just get your head beyond the idea that I can't do this. Same thing with this YouTube channel. When I first started, it was overwhelming. And then at some point I just went, you know what? I'm gonna put in a couple years, I'm gonna buckle down, I'm gonna see what I can do. Got that silver plaque, and now I have in my mind, I'm gonna get that gold plaque. We're getting to 1 million subscribers. Might take a while, but hard work. So first thing, learn the basics. That's what AI says. Before you start competing as a professional fighter, you'll need to learn the basics of the sport. You can do this by training at a gym or dojo that specializes in your chosen discipline. Absolutely. That's the case with everything. You got to get those basics down. And I feel like a lot of people out there rush by the basics and they're in a hurry to get to the fight. They want to fight before they have those basics down pat. Let me tell you what I think is the most important element of getting into that fight timing-wise before you compete. It's going to be a little different for everybody. General rule of thumb, I'm going to say, is a minimum, absolute minimum of 6 months, but that to me seems so rushed. I like to say a year, unless you're somebody who just comes in, you're naturally athletic, within the first class or two, you already look good. Sure, you can do it in 6 months. I've seen people do that, and I went, wow, they look sharp. But a year is my general answer. If you want to start competing in fight sports, give yourself a year to learn those basics. Because it's not just punching and kicking, it's learning how to defend so you don't get knocked out. Next, get in shape. Well, obviously you need to be in good shape. A lot of people don't take this as seriously as they should. And again, this can be something that equals a knockout just because you fade and you're not able to defend yourself in the way you should. But as you're learning those basics, you have to learn how to hit hard. And as you're practicing to hit hard and push the pace, you're going to naturally get in shape there. It doesn't really mention here, it says weight training, cardio, and specific martial arts training. Yeah, I mean, cardio, if I was giving an answer, I would say, you need to get specific about what the cardio training is going to be, because you can get cardio from your actual training, but we need to talk about cross training. You've got to do cross training to challenge your body in a different way from the fight sport. I find for me, when I don't do that, I suffer. I'm not in as good shape. So running, swimming, something. Next, get experience. It says, as you become more experienced and skilled, you can start competing. So the experience, this one's a little vague, Get experience, you can start competing, building your skills, you can start competing in amateur fights. I would like a little more there, just talking about what you can expect, I suppose, in the experience realm. I wouldn't be talking about like, oh, you need to become a professional fighter until you have a minimum, absolute minimum of 10 fights. I think anything prior to that is dangerous. Now, that could seem very low to a boxer. Amateur boxer might be like, dude, I have like 100 fights before I go pro. And MMA fighters might be going, oh, I only want 1 or 2. But if you jump the gun and you get there too fast, it can hurt your career. So take a beat, take a pause, have those amateur fights. And what you're doing here, as it says, is gain experience, which allows you to get closer to your performance in the gym. Let's say you do that first year and then you fight. Your skill level in the gym might be here, but your performance is going to be down here. But as you get better and better, your skill level in the actual ring is going to climb very quickly because you get more calm, you get more composed, you're able to think, and now you're able to execute a little closer to your actual real skill level as opposed to your ring or cage skill level. And it says you have to build a reputation. We won't go too much into this one in terms of me reading it back to you, but let's just reputation. Yes, you absolutely have to build the reputation, because if you don't have that, you don't get that social media following. You don't get people who want to come out and buy tickets to watch you. Now, initially, that might not hurt you, because if you put on good, exciting fights, at least, even if people don't really know who you are, the promoters will bring you back. That's really the important part, in my opinion. The fan base will be important down the road when you start signing those professional contracts and you want more money. If you want more money, the reputation is very important. And we've seen many people who don't have a great reputation, even though they're fantastic fighters, pay for it financially because they cannot lock down those pay-per-view fights or those big fat contracts. But you want to build that reputation. It could be strictly within the ring, but I would say go even further and build a reputation outside the ring or cage. Who are you? What defines you from the other fighters outside your fighting skills? This is something that I have lacked my whole career. I define myself through my fast pace, my variety. Maybe some people now are starting to go, okay, Gabriel is an intelligent fighter when he's in the ring. He does a very good job breaking down his opponents. He has a thought process that we're interested to learn about. Plus, generally people tell me I'm clean cut and fairly wholesome. So maybe that's built up to my reputation, but that's just sort of become who I am instead of me pushing it. You can push a reputation that people find intriguing. It will make it that much easier for next you to find the right promotion. If you want to become a big name fighter, you need the right fight promotion. Now, obviously there are steps up in promotions, and this doesn't really talk about that. You're not going to just get in there and you're going to find UFC wants you in the snap of a finger, unless you happen to do something crazy with your reputation. So yes, you can find the right fight promotion, but map out a step-by-step process. I want to get to the UFC. The UFC is taking a lot of fighters from this mid-tier promotion, and this mid-tier promotion often signs people from these lower-tier promotions, and you see a clear path to your end goal. That's something that I would add in if I was telling other fighters how to become a professional fighter, more specifically a successful professional fighter, I suppose. Then it says, train consistently. Yes. And I like how they added, not just for the physical aspect, but also for the mental aspect. And that is absolutely right. Because when you're not training consistently, you're peaking, and then you drop after the fight. And then you go back to peaking, and it's just this roller coaster. And it's not just a roller coaster physically on your body, but it's also a roller coaster emotionally and mentally, and that's draining and that's hard to deal with. Now, yes, there should be something in here about training consistently might help the mental aspect, but it can also break you if you push too far. So it's that fine line, which people will hopefully come to recognize with the good coach that you will have, or by listening to channels like this. But really, overall, this AI did a very good job of just having this question and then bam, spat it out to my buddy. Like he said, super trippy, actually a pretty damn good answer. And I like how they finish. Just remember, it's important to have a backup plan and not put all your eggs in one basket. Now let's talk about that, because that is something which I preach to other people, but I really didn't do myself. I know. So like a bit of a hypocrite here. That's something I really don't like. So let me first explain my thought process or my actual situation. I was in school and I didn't really know what I was working towards. I didn't find anything in particular where I'm like, this is my career, this is what I want to do. But on the side, I was having fun. I was competing as an amateur. I started getting up to that amateur world title level, and my grades started to suffer a little bit. And I went, I want to choose one or the other, so I can be 100% focused. I chose to do fighting. I figured I would go back to school within a couple years, and just the further and further I went, the more I just kept winning fights, kept winning belts, things were going well. And then all of a sudden, I'm kind of looking back now at 37 going, oh, I stopped school around 22. Do I really want to go back to school once I'm done fighting? No, I didn't love it. I was actually very good at school. I got very good grades, but I didn't enjoy it because the content, the material which we were learning didn't really speak to me. Maybe I was in the wrong field there. Maybe I should have been doing something in like kinesiology as opposed to English or psychology or many of the other programs which I sort of dabbled in. But the fight career does bring you opportunities as long as you're going through it, you're thinking, how can this serve me when my fight career is done? And remember, some fighters get pulled out very fast because of injuries, and you want to have a backup plan. Am I going to teach privates? Am I going to run my own gym with lots of members? Am I going to have a YouTube channel? I mean, there's just so many little things that you can do in the fight community, which will bring you an income, and I absolutely love it. But I still preach to everybody when they're thinking about a professional fight career and they're like, ooh, should I quit my job? I go, no. Don't quit your job until you're a pro fighter and you're making okay money. Anything before that is very, very dangerous. And I was able to do it because I was still supported by my father and my mom at that time. They were looking after me. They were taking care of me. I was still teaching on the side as well. So I had my own income so I could support myself. But, you know, I was good. I was safe. I didn't have to worry about, okay, I just quit my job and I have $2,000 a month in rent and I have to win fights, otherwise I'm out in the street. I had stress, but not that kind of stress. So just something else to keep in mind. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode about artificial intelligence asking how to become a professional fighter. And really, they were talking about a successful professional fighter as well. Remember, Magnesium Breakthrough. It has been helping me a lot stay focused because I'm getting that sleep and that recovery. My body's not always drained. I would suggest for anybody out there, you want to be a professional fighter, you want to get the supplements that are going to help you succeed. This one has made me feel great. The last 2 fight camps, that's the only time I've been able to try a supplement that has actually made a difference in my training, the training quality I have. You can head over to magnesiumbreakthrough.com/Gabriel and use that promo code Gabriel10 to save 10%. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a like. If you have not already, join the channel and get subscribed. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another video.